Just going to move that back a little bit. That's better. Hi, and thank you for joining me on tonight's live tutorial. I'm Pam Wrigley, and today I'm going to show you, or tonight I should say, depending on where you are in the world, I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful kind of low bun. It's almost like a little low roll with some really pretty little braids coming across the back. And although it looks totally gorgeous and exquisite, it's actually really simple to create. Let me just lift this lady up a little bit so you can see it all. That's better. If you have any questions as we go through the tutorial, please just pop your questions into the chat box and I'll do my best to answer. Sometimes I get a bit carried away creating the style, so bear with me if I don't get back to you straight away. And your questions could be anything to do with tonight's bridal hairstyle or just working as a bridal hairstylist. I am here to help. So I'm going to tell you a little bit first of all about the hair prep that I've done on our lady this evening. So I have actually crimped her hair and I use these little mini crimpers, but any crimpers will do. We do have tutorials because I do have an online bridal hair course. So if just want to say hi to any of our students that are joining us tonight. And on the online bridal hair course, we do have in-depth tutorials covering all the hair prep, step by step. So I've crimped all the hair. And as I say, you can find that on our online bridal hair course. And when I was crimping the hair, I used a little bit of mousse and some Silhouette setting spray, setting lotion, and crimped all the hair. And then usually what I do is I just pin curl the hair away once I've crimped everything, because it just gives a little bit of extra oomph and volume to the hair. And if, like me, I mean, I do makeup and hair, but you know, if you were just doing the hair and maybe you were doing the bride's hair first, you would crimp her hair, pop it all away, all over in pin curls. I've taken these out. And then you work with the bridesmaids and then come back and finish with the bride. So we've got some pin curls in here. So let's take these out. And you can see, even though the hair hasn't been curled, just by kind of pin curling the hair, you get this extra kind of root lift and volume and movement. So it kind of makes your job easier. Now, I always say, even when we're working with very straight styles, you know, with hair where the hair can be straight to create the style, it's always easier, I find, to get a little bit of extra root lift and extra movement in the hair, because then the hair kind of tells you where it wants to go. So it's always worth doing this little kind of bit of a pin curl. And then you're already kind of fighting, you know, you're already on the winning side, because look at this lovely root lift here. And you can always lose the root lift if they don't want volume, but quite often people do want a bit of root lift and a bit of movement for their wedding day hairstyle. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Thank you for joining me. Sorry, is that a question though? So, good evening, nice to see you. Thank you. I always look amazing. I always love compliments, but thank you. So let's begin. Now, the lady that I did this style on just before Christmas, she didn't want any bits down around the face. She didn't want a parting. She wanted everything back with some lovely kind of root lift and volume. And look at that. That's exactly what we've got. And I wrote everything down on, I have like a little planner that I write everything down on. So when I do the trial, and sometimes, and now I'm doing trials for kind of brides late August, and I've done a trial actually for somebody who's getting married in October. So if you're going to do the trials that far in advance, you really need to write everything down. I would say it's not enough to take photographs, because when you look at a picture of the style, you're kind of looking at the end result. Whereas what you actually want to do when you're creating these styles is you want to find out how you actually got to that end result. So always write everything down if you can in detail, as well as taking pictures. So what I'm going to do, let me tell you, this is a little bit of, this is a Goldwell session, sorry, Goldwell style design, and it's creative texture. Let's see if you can see that. Actually, I think it's called Style Sign. I'm not quite sure if you can see that, but it's creative texture spray wax. So it's quite light, it's not too heavy, and it will give the hair a little bit of a shine without weighing it down too much. So you can create a little bit of texture here as you bring the hair back and just gather it together here at the back, quite low down. And then I'm going to use a bobby pin. Let me move her in here a little bit. That's it. Now I'm gonna, sometimes when I'm doing these styles and I'm working from one side, the hairstyle ends up a little bit lopsided. I'm going to do my best to keep it in the center for you today, but you will get the idea so you know what to do when you're creating styles for your ladies. So I'm just going to put a bobby pin across the back there. So you can see that I've used a blonde bobby pin there. So this is just everything from the front coming back. Check in the mirror that you're happy with the shape of the hair at the front, and if it's dropping down a little bit, don't worry, you can always use a little pin just to kind of prop the hair up until you're sure you're happy with the way everything's sitting. And these are just little hair pins that I'm just using just to prop the hair up. That's better, just so you can get the shape just how you want it. Now you could also, let me just smooth that out. You kind of want it smooth, but not too smooth. It's a fine balance. So again, if you need to put a little prop here, just to prop these up at the side, you can. And I'm just using a hairpin and just nudging that hair up a little bit and popping the pin just there. It's not staying there. It's just kind of persuading the hair to move in that general direction. Now, these bits are going to come back and create our little twists later on. Maybe a little bit of that, actually. I don't want to leave too much hair out here, so I might bring a little bit of this back as well. That's it. That's better. So just have a little play. Bring the hair back. As I say, this lady isn't having anything. Let's just pop a bobby pin over there. She's not having anything down at the front. She wants it all clean. Now, not everybody will be like that, so you will need to check with your client how she likes her hair, you know, how she likes to have her hair at the front. And we're all different, so there's no kind of one size fits all. And you might find, actually, that when your brides come to see you and they choose, you know, I usually ask my clients to have a look to see, you know, to find a few hairstyles that they really like. So when they come to see me, I can have a look at those styles. Now, what you might want to do when you're just beginning is you might want to get them to send you the photographs in advance. So if you need to practice, you can. But quite often, there we go, I'm leaving these bits out because these are going to be our little braids coming back at the end. Quite often, you know, people will show you pictures and they'll be kind of looking at the front of the style and whether the hair goes to the left or to the right. My lady that I did today had a fringe and she hadn't been able to find very many styles that showed ladies with fringes. But really what you want to do is kind of pull them away from how the hairstyle looks at the front and get them to look for hairstyles that they like from the back, because you're always going to adapt. Oops, she slipped down a little bit. You are always going to be adapting your styles to suit your bride's particular face shape, which is why we usually work with these front sections separately so we can adapt the styles to suit them. Let me just turn her around a little bit. Hope we didn't miss anything there. So we've got some little pins in, holding up, propping up the sides here. This one is fine, but I've got some in that side. And I brought everything back, leaving the sides out. Our hair prep has been nice and simple. We've just crimped the hair first, pin curled the hair, and now we're ready to style. Let me just check our questions again. How much time would you... thank you, Ajwa. So how much time would I allow? So I would allow a good hour to crimp the hair. You don't want to feel rushed. And when you're crimping the hair, it's better, I find, because you don't want to get crimp marks on the hair. So it's better to use very kind of fine, narrow sections of hair. So I'd allow a good hour to crimp the hair. You don't want to be rushed with the hair prep because that's what makes the rest of the styling easy. So what I've done next is I've just used a hairband here. I've only put it around the hair once because I want this to be quite wide. I don't want it to be too narrow. Now what you can do, you could either use your spray wax to spray on the hair again, or another product that I really like as well, another Goldwell product is another creative texture product from the Goldwell range. This one is a Super Ego, and it's like a styling cream, and it's very kind of, it's almost like it's quite almost like a kind of, it's not just, it smooths the hair, but it doesn't just smooth the hair, it also holds the hair in place. So you can see, you can get your nice kind of extra kind of piecey textured looks if you want them. So, and you can also, another thing you can do with this is smooth out the hair so it can make the hair glossy and gorgeous. So all we're going to do next is, I'm just smoothed out that one underneath. I'm not worrying about smoothing out the top too much because the top is going to be kind of, it's going to all be rolled up like that. So you're not going to see this inside bit of the hair. So I've got a little bit of padding, and this is a donut that I prepared earlier. I just cut it up, and I might cut it up again, make it just a little bit smaller. To say, once you've done the hair prep for this style, I would allow an hour for the hair prep, and then for the styling, you probably need half an hour, but I would allow 45 minutes, just in case. But I'm going to do it much quicker than that today. So I've just rolled up the padding, and I'm going to just wrap that hair around here and roll that up. 1 minute, let me just get that round there. She's got very thick hair. You know, you could put an elastic band on the end of here and then roll it around the padding. So we're just going to roll that around the padding, and then using our strong pins again, I'm going to go into the padding, come out again, do my little up and over technique, which again you will see on our online bridal hair course. So if you're thinking of becoming a bridal hairstylist, it's a great place to start. So into the padding, let me turn her around so maybe you can see. Gone into the padding, come out, do my up and over, and go back in, and it's super secure. And then you can just loosen this out. Might need another one. I can see a little bit of padding there, so I'm going to pop another pin in, and I can see already up and over, back in again, that she's slightly lopsided. Can you see she's kind of over to that side? So when you create your styles, I do recommend you stand at the back in the middle so you can see everything. And it looks like now actually we can probably take these out. Yeah, that's fine. I might need to, you know, I think I would have helped a little bit, I think, and pin that in down here, is if I maybe pop those bobby pins in a little bit lower so they were hidden. But it's nothing we can't tweak. That's it. So we've got our bun, and then if you want to, you can loosen this, make it look a little bit textured or a little bit messy. Although I have to say, you know what I've found recently? A lot of my brides are wanting smoother styles. They're not necessarily, they still wanted a little bit textured with a little bit of kind of movement, but they're looking for glossier styles. They're not necessarily looking for those very matte kind of textured styles where there's no shine and no gloss in the hair. Okay, so here, talking about gloss, let's give her a little bit of gloss there. And here we can do, you know what, you could do a little braid here. You could do a little twist here. Let's do a little twist, I think. Just crossing the hair over and over. And we're going to bring this back. And you can loosen that twist just a little bit. And what you can do as well here that will help is just, let's see what's happening to that bit of hair. Any bits of hair that slip, just prop it up a little bit. That's it. And then you can hold them in position and loosen. Let's just turn her around a little bit more for you. That's it. And then you're going to secure this side in position, in place. Now this lady, when I did her just before Christmas, as I mentioned before, she didn't want any bits down. She wanted all the hair to be up. That's it. Lovely. So just have a little play. I'm going to do this kind of quickly. That's it. Lovely. And then we'll do the other side. So all this hair has been crimped. We don't need any curls in the hair here. We've got volume from where we pin curled the hair. And that's as much as we need. So now let's do the other side. Bring it over here a little bit. Make sure you can still see. That's it, lovely. And then, oh, now look, let's tuck that in. Let's make sure we've tucked everything in and hidden it away and secured it out of the way. So it's actually very quick, this style. Once you've done that prep, take the time to do the hair prep properly and you'll find the rest is easy. So we could do another twist here. Let me make sure I'm still going to be on camera for you. That's it. So you're going to separate the hair. Now, you know, you could do any braid you wanted to here. I'm just going to do a couple of simple twists. Cross over. Actually, try and get these two the same size. That's a bit better. And we're just going to cross over. If your lady wanted any bits down here, this is where you would make sure that those little sections were down. Cross over. Create a little twist. And then we're going to loosen. And when the twists come together at the back, it kind of looks like a braid. So it's nice and easy. Loosen it a little bit. And because you've got that crimping in there, you'll find it will loosen really easily. Tucking little bits in. If she's got very fine hair, you could always use a little bit of texturizing powder just to help hold the hair. So I'd probably create the twist, then I'd pop on the texturizing powder. I'm just using a little pin here. So then I'd pop on the texturizing powder and then loosen it, pull it out. So if the hair's very fine and you find as you're pulling it out, it's all kind of separating, then I'd use a little bit of the texturizing powder. I think we mentioned it last week. We used the Puff Me texturizing powder last week. Let's just tuck this bit in and out of the way and secure it. So you just sprinkle the texturizing powder onto the hair and then separate. And then you get this lovely kind of, the hair will hold together as you separate. Oh, we're nearly there. She needs squishing in a bit there. A little bit of shape. Then what we can do is push these little pins in, help hold everything in place. So we've got what looks like a braid, but it's actually a twist from either side. I think we can take that out now. And we've got our lovely, let's just hide that pin a little bit better. That's it. We've got our lovely kind of, oh, another one there. But she looks gorgeous. So at the front, she's got, it's all just coming back. And then soft over the ears, round to the back. Lift her up just a little bit. And we've got our lovely kind of, it looks like a little simple but beautiful bun with a braid. Looking lovely. Okay, great. Let me check our questions. Have a look. Oh, thank you, Slim. I'm glad you like it. We've got any questions? Can this, so Slim's just asked me now if this style will work if your client has extensions. It should still work actually if the client's got extensions. You might find, what I would probably do is before you roll the hair up, is that you put an elastic band on the bottom, because there's probably going to be quite a lot of hair there, so it'll help you to hold it together. And you probably don't need a lot of padding. A little bit of padding. The padding isn't necessarily to give us bulk, but it's to give you a good foundation to hold everything in position. So don't use a lot of padding, just a little bit. Put the hair in a ponytail. And even if somebody's got very thick hair, you'll find it's a lot easier to control if you put the end of the hair into a ponytail and then wrap it around the padding before you kind of roll up. And I think you'll find that then it will work beautifully. The only other thing you'd need to be careful of if they had extensions is that you don't lift the hair up at the sides. You bring the hair down and back, so you don't see any of those kind of clip-ins or bonds however the extensions have been put into the hair. Another fabulous style. Thank you for joining me. If you've got any styles you want to learn, just send them in and keep in touch. You can always join me and learn online with my online bridal hair course. If you need any information, just get in touch. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye.